There's a new Velma cartoon. Have you heard about it? Of course you have. It's the only thing people have been talking about for the past month. It's the worst thing in the world, even becoming the lowest rated animated series on IMDb. How it completely tarnishes the Scooby-Doo brand, and that it came off like it was written to intentionally annoy as many people as possible.
Sincerely, Velma. Well, at least Judy's still white.
Considering this, you may also be shocked to hear that it's become the most watched HBO Max original series. How the hell did that happen? Well, if you spoke to your average Twitter user, they'd tell you this is a result of hate watching. Just what is hate watching, you may be asking? Well, geez, I thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but basically, it's the act of engaging with a show or movie purely for the sake of crapping on it. And considering how much negative attention Velma was getting before its release, I was surprised to see that upon it coming out, everybody was posting clips or discussing certain scenes. For people who seem to not want this show to exist and think it's purely made to get a rise out of people, they sure were giving the executives what they wanted if that were the case. Me personally, never watched it. It didn't look like I'd enjoy it and therefore had no desire to check it out. I've been too busy watching through Breaking Bad for the first time. Pretty good, I like that Walter White fella. But I started to notice on social media there were becoming more and more posts about how everyone hate-watching Velma is to blame for it being such a success. That if nobody watched it for the sole purpose of crapping on it, then it wouldn't have been so successful and picked up for a second season. That you, the viewer, are at fault. But is this true though? Is Velma only popular because of hate-watching? No, not really. Sure, without a doubt it got some rise in viewership due to people watching it out of spite, but today I want to talk about the art of hate watching, how that doesn't guarantee a show's success metrics-wise, and that Velma was popular because it was popular. There's no deeper reason. But first, you know what my favorite thing to do while hate watching a cartoon is? Eating cereal. What could be better than that? That's why I'm happy this video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. This video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon offers a variety pack of cereal with 4 delicious flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. The frosted without a doubt being my personal favorite. With only 140 calories per serving, along with being keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free, they're a high-quality alternative if you're in the market for cereal that helps with your low-carb lifestyle. So for amazingly tasty cereal with more protein and less sugar, and for starting your new year off right, click the link below to grab a variety pack of Magic Spoon cereal using promo code AliceMark at checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/AliceMark. If you for any reason don't like it, they'll refund your money 100% no questions asked. So click the link below or scan the QR code on screen and use code AliceMark for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/AliceMark to save $5 today. And thanks to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. Now, it's not new that cartoons have started integrating in jokes and lines solely for the purpose of annoying fans, especially when it's a controversial take on an already existing property. Possibly the biggest example of this would be Teen Titans Go, when they hyped up bringing back one of the most popular villains from the original series, Slade, even titling the episode The Return of Slade, only for them to completely skip past the battle while talking about how epic it was, and having the entire rest of it consist of 2 of them realizing that this thing from their childhood wasn't as cool as they remembered and wanting to give it an edgy update.
And it wasn't just the fight that was amazing. In the end, so many compelling storylines came together and resolved in such a satisfying way.
Of course, it's not a good strategy to make fans who already aren't into your new interpretation even more angry by teasing them with what they want, but it's genius from a marketing perspective, getting all these extra eyes on your product, and following it up with word of mouth from all the discourse surrounding it. You know, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I remember Sonic Boom doing a similar thing during its second season where they make the exact same joke.
You just missed the most epic Eggman battle!
It was the perfect blend of new minions and classic favorites from years past!
I mean, this meta stuff really writes itself. This has been going on for so long that I seriously question when audiences are finally going to stop doing exactly what was intended, therefore justifying these jokes continuing to exist by giving them so much attention. But Velma wasn't just successful because of hate watching. The reality of the situation is most people making fun of Velma on social media haven't watched it, and are basing their thoughts on whatever clips or opinions they see being posted online, whether or not these things are even true. Velma's release even gave us the prime example of that. After the first 2 episodes finally came out, we reached the peak of hatred towards it, because everyone unanimously agreed that the series wasn't very good, filled with unfaithful adaptations of these characters, lame jokes where they stand around and wink to the audience about how self-aware they are, and generally just not being all that funny or interesting. Again, I can't comment on it since I haven't seen it. The visuals look good, that's all I can say. It's not really necessary for the point I'm trying to make.
I think it has something to do with drugs, which I hate.
But because people were already all aboard the hate train and only looking for more things to use to complain about the series, they were ready and willing to believe whatever was said, whether or not it were even true. People started sharing images of Shaggy. Sorry, I mean Norville. Can I just say that I see a lot of people complaining that he's called Norville now, but that was always his real name. If you watched Scooby-Doo 2 as many times as me, you would know this. But he's with this previously inconsequential girl character, with the plot synopsis stating how Norville and her would start dating. Just what was this girl's name? Scooby. That's kind of fucking weird, isn't it? You make a Scooby-Doo series without the titular character, and then give their name to a random girl who's meant to get with Shaggy? These writers are pretty messed up. Well, newsflash, it's not real. It was never real. This girl was always named Gigi in the credits, which allowed folks to see that this was nothing more than a made-up story to drum up some more controversy, as if the actual content in the show didn't do a good enough job at that. And if people would have just waited another week, they'd see how Scooby was integrated into the series, being the codename for some secret operation that puts a member of Norville's family in prison. I think it's pretty dumb, honestly.
Special Covert Operations Brain Initiative, or Scooby.
Scooby? And wait, what did Scooby do?
Again, not everyone talking about Velma are actually watching it. Given their willingness to believe every little thing said, true or not, the series got views and is popular because it's a brand new adult take on one of the most popular and beloved kids properties of all time, that literally everybody has seen at some point in their life. There has been new Scooby-Doo content on an almost yearly basis for like 50 years. Anything Scooby-Doo related is quite possibly the widest net for any target demographic possible. You know, it wasn't gender specific, it wasn't a boys cartoon or a girls cartoon or any of those things.
It was a talking dog,
you know what I mean? I think sometimes the terminally online forget that not everyone on God's green earth operates a Twitter account, where they can see what new thing is being complained about that day, and simply went onto their HBO Max account, was welcomed by all the Velma posters being advertised, which I can attest were everywhere, and gave it a click to see what it was all about. Plain and simple, no deeper meaning or conspiracy behind it. Also, I saw a lot of people blaming hate watching on the fact that it was picked up for a second season, when that also isn't true. It's a very common practice for networks to pick up a show for a second season and announce that fact either right before the series premiere or not long after, as it further gives news sites and people stuff to talk about. Not to mention that it makes it seem like the series is popular enough to warrant a second season, when in reality it was just going to draw more eyes. Powerpuff Girls 2016 and Sonic Boom got picked up for second seasons very shortly after coming out, which gave them both so much press about how successful they were, only for viewership to immediately drop and Cartoon Network to try and sweep them under the rug. Sonic Boom being dumped onto Boomerang for its second season, with no advertising at all, with episodes getting as little ratings as 80,000 viewers. For contrast, the first episode got over 1 million. So no, let's stop pointing the finger at who's to blame for Velma getting a second season. If people wanted to watch the show before gathering a solid opinion and posting their thoughts about it on the internet, then that's their prerogative. This is a judge-free zone. If you want to watch Velma, go right ahead. The simple answer here is that your average person making a video or post about this show does not care about Velma. Hell, I don't either. But there's so much outrage and attention being brought onto it because it's the current cool thing to hate. Nobody wants to be the odd one out crapping on a show beloved by everyone. So when a new series comes along that is so widely hated with so many obvious flaws, they jump at the chance to start making fun of it. It's similar to a point I made in my Big Mouth video, where I often see folks excuse bad products by claiming people worked hard on them and therefore you shouldn't be able to criticize it. But suddenly a show like Velma comes along and apparently the gloves are off. That hard work doesn't matter anymore. The real conclusion here is that everybody wants to act like they're above crapping on things. That they would never stoop that low and we should only engage with stuff positively. But once a situation comes around where they know they can get away with it because it's the popular opinion, that positivity goes away. So keep hate watching Velma, and keep tweeting about people hate watching Velma too. At the end of the day, you're both just giving it engagement, which is exactly what the executives want.